Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from upstate New York, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha Das. I got to take an inhale before I say that because I run out of breath. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam. Welcome to Walk on Wednesday. And before we interview our Walk on Wednesday guest, any announcements from the Peanut Gallery?
Yes, there's a Bhakti recovery group meeting at 1:00 today, and a women's group this evening at 9:30 p.m. Okay. And there's no show on Sunday.
No show on Sunday, and we need Christmas questions, right, for Saturday?
Yep.
Christmas questions.
Questions related
Santa Claus
to
real.
Christmas. Santa Claus. Maybe that should be the theme.
Is Santa Claus real?
Do you believe?
I tell my kids, listen, Santa Claus isn't real. Krishna's real. If we're, because when you're talking about fantastic things, you got to really lay it down. Look, this fantastic thing is not real. This fantastic thing is very, very real. They seem, to a kid, I got a feeling Santa Claus and Krishna sound just as wonderful, fantastic. And I always say that Santa Claus works for Krishna. Like he's check out my mug, everybody. I'd rather be reading sacred literature. We all have them here, given to us by...
I would have brought mine out if I would have known we were breaking
Cindy Lunsford. Thank you. Yoga Soul, Cindy Lunsford from Nashville, Tennessee. Thanks for the presents. My new mug I'm going to get is... what is it, Mara?
This would never happen to Kaustubha.
My This Would Never Happen to Kaustubha mug. That's my newest
Do you
mug.
drop the mug immediately?
Shatters into pieces.
This would never happen to Kaustubha. All right, so we're going to bring on our Walk on Wednesday. Any other announcements, or that's it?
I could say, I think today, I've been meaning to do this for a couple of days now, but I think today good. I will release, I spoke at the Bhakti Center over the weekend on Are We Free? And so I hope to post that today for Patreon members.
I thought you were going to say, I will release, like what? Like a prisoner? I've been holding hostage a young prisoner here, and I'm going to release them today. I'd like to make that public announcement. I was like, where's he going with this?
Who does he think he is?
My mind goes right to prisoners, caves, treasure chests. Okay, well, I'm going to introduce Jaishree Triola. Welcome to the show, Jaishree. She's on California, so it's 5 a.m. there. She's a Californian, a regular other, an occasional Zoomer. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. How long have you been listening to Wisdom of the Sages for?
Since just before Chant Camp since I found out about it, I connected with you before Chant Camp last summer. Mm-hmm.
Jaishree, she does this incredible company called Kabacha Designs. Kabachas are these beautiful amulets that the devotees wear around their neck, and sometimes they put mantras in them for protection, and sometimes they put like sacred things in them, sacred articles. And a lot of times you get these ones in India, and they're a little junky, but I'm happy because between the Silver Tulsi Mala guy and you've like taken this like arts, sometimes India, the things just fall apart. And you make these really nice quality, integrity driven, quality products. And I love them. And another thing about you is, we put our heads together and we came up with this California chant camp. There you got the sweatshirt on. And this was, it was launched this year in Northern California at our friend's retreat center, Ram Dass. But I couldn't go because I got COVID right then, but Kaustubha went. But we're going to do it again this year. And when are the dates for chant camp this 2022?
Next year.
September 30th, October 1st and 2nd. So.
And that is everybody from Wisdom of the Sages will be there. We're going all Kirtan Yoga Festival in this beautiful place in Northern California retreat center, as well as we had shelter play, or we were going to play. I think we should play again this year. It'll be shelter and a bunch of kirtan. And it's super excited.
Yeah. Thank you. You helped bring a lot of people that I hadn't known about yet. I met Kelly Skinner through there. Kelly came Skinner. And Madhu and Rasa and Kaustubha. I met Kaustubha through you and
Vaishya Prabhu came.
Vaishya Prabhu.
And Madhuri.
Madhuri. And
I met a lot of nice people there.
Yeah, Karnamrita played. And
yeah, incredible. And so can you please tell us about Kaustubha Designs, please? I just thought it was like, it's the holiday season. People are giving gifts. Why not give it something cool and Krishna conscious too?
I appreciate that. I listened when Yamuna was on with her Happy Girl Farms. And I know you support and help network with devotees that are dovetailing their spiritual life into something to help themselves. So I when I met the devotees in the 80s, and a lot of devotees wore kavachas, and I just thought they were really beautiful, and I was attracted to them, and I started collecting them at temple bookstores and different festivals. And I'm an artist, and I was starting a business to make jewelry, and people always commented on my kavachas. And so I asked my teacher, my teacher's Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, but Bodhayan Maharaj was visiting the States, and I asked him for his blessings if I could make a Western version of this to make it accessible. And I started designing them in an AutoCAD program. So they're casted pieces. They're meant to last for lifetimes, handed down, not just,
It's great. You could hand them down to your children.
Yeah, like somebody I know did.
Yes, she gave me this big, cool one. It's sort of like a Run DMC version of a kavacha. I was like, my daughter is going to look great in this. I gave her my daughter. She looks super cool. But yeah, so what's your website?
Kavachadesigns.com.
KAVACHA designs.com. And
I also trademarked the name Sacred Armor.
Ooh,
ARM, wear your prayer. That's the
hashtag.
Tattoo that on your neck. Sacred Armor. So anyway, check that out. And she's giving a Wisdom of Sages discount.
Then, what we got to do is we got to get someone working on actually writing the prayers so that they can put into the kavacha.
Yes.
Maybe little Karuna, 8 years old, could be doing that, or someone like that.
Someone with little hands.
With little hands, exactly. Really tiny, right? And roll it up, and stick it in there.
So yours are empty. So we got to put either sacred dust in there, say like sand from Vrindavan, or various Nishringa kavachas.
Yeah, the first one I made was Lord Nishringadev, because how I came to understand it was the Nishringa kavacha, and of course that is written, on a certain bark by a brahmin, and rolled up and sealed and put on a red thread, and a lot of times they wear them on their arms. And
that's a cool look.
It's a cool look. Tying them on the arms. I love that.
Yeah,
My son does that.
Yeah.
All right. So Kavacha Designs, and there's a coupon code of WOTS 108. And what do you get off that?
20%. 20%. Yeah.
Great. Awesome.
And if somebody really wants one, needs one, is struggling financially, just send me an email. Send me Jaishree at kavacha.com.
Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? What business owner is going to say that on the air? No, but truthfully, that's why I like to support devotee businesses, because that's the mood of everybody we deal with. you know, Happy Girl Kitchen, Baba Wellness, you know, my mom's nuts.com, all of them. They're all cool. Thank you. You are very sweet. And that's why we like you in our life.
Mhm.
So
Jaishree's she's a real devotee. You know, when at that chant camp, you could just see she was just constantly serving and just sacrificing one's own self to serve others. You know, she really embodies that.
yeah, Prabhu. Thanks. We're glad you're around in our life. We're glad you're part of our community. She's always, if I get her on the phone, I can't even talk to her because she's got like 5 minutes of praising wisdom of the sages before I can even get a word. Listen, I really got to talk about something important. Oh, Kaustubha, oh my God, what are you doing in the world? Very, very. It's like she's like a real devotee. That's what devotees do. They can't even speak until they appreciate. Write that down. Write that down.
Take away.
Yeah, that's a good takeaway.
A nug.
That's a nug. She's the one that told me nugs are actually types of marijuana. But I said I'm going to take that word and upcycle it.
Okay.
We're going to call it nugs anyway.
You have to get you high in another way.
Nectar nugs.
Nectar nugs. All right, Jaishree, thank you for joining us. Covet Your Designs and keep up the good work. Check out the website. While you're pretending like you're looking at me and Kaustubha, and just go to the website right now. And they make
Follow me on social media, please. Follow me.
yeah. Let's all follow her right now. Everybody take a moment, follow her Covet Your Designs right now. Let's get her at least a few thousand more followers today.
Oh, hey, you know what, Raghunath? We're real close to breaking the 10,000 mark on YouTube.
Ooh.
And I think if everybody subscribed to us on YouTube today.
Right now, not even after the show, right now, while you're multitask, subscribe to us on YouTube. That's good. By the way, the Covet Your Designs, we invited you late in the game. You probably won't get there by Christmas, but maybe by New Year's. She does it pretty quick. She's right.
I do. I have sold a lot, and there are some styles on back order, but
okay.
Yeah.
We're good. We're good. We appreciate you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the show. We're diving into the Srimad Bhagavatam. Jaishree, it's 5 a.m. If you need to snooze or get your kids ready for school or whatever, you can. But if you want to, you're focused. She's going to stay here. Pole position. Okay, Richard L., you're number 2 now. Om Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan. Unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart will be extinguished, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Medatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Mara, chapter 29.
Chapter 29, text 31.
Text 31. That's Canto 3. How are you doing, Kaustubha?
I'm doing good. Raghunath. And I'm interested in today's topic, you know?
Yeah.
You sound like you're not.
No, I am. But you know what? Truthfully, if I can share with you,
open up.
I'm going through a little holiday struggle, my friend.
What's the matter?
You know, it's the first year ever.
Oh yeah.
I'm just not with my children on the holiday, and it's very, very confronting. You know, you realize, and I mean, we talk about, you know, detachment, and you throw these things, but I'm a father. I feel very, you know, I feel like I should be attached. These are my children, and you know, I have a design, a plan. I've never had to plan. You get the kids now. I get the kids then, and so I'm taking the kids Christmas at noon till New Year's, and okay. I'm upstate. I was planning on being in New York City with you, and then I got my you know, Supernica nose, and so I ended up coming upstate, and I'm just hanging out with Mara, and Mara's doing her Mara thing. She's chopping vegetables and cooking, so I'm just like meandering around. My kids are so close, and I can't see any of them. I miss them like crazy.
You could have just stayed down here.
You know what? I love you. I love you. Your apartment's very small. Okay. And I'm like explosive. I can't contain. If you guys got to go, you just got to go to Kaustubha's museum apartment. It is like a Krishna conscious museum apartment. This on the right is Krishna and Balaram. These are my deities. Everything's perfectly in order. I'm like walking in the house, spilling things out of my pockets. I could never last in your house for more than a few hours. I expand.
Okay, well, then we'll see you on Boxing Day.
Yeah, you'll see
well,
on
let me
Boxing
ask you
Day.
this question. I get it. I imagine that must be very hard to go through. It must be emotionally very difficult. So here's my question. How are you processing it?
You know what? I've had to. Truthfully, it's wisdom of the sages has saved my life this whole year. I have to zoom the way. Oh man, it's like, yeah. I had to zoom the hell out of my life, and see my life in like decades instead of days, decades. Right. Like, okay, in a decade from now, how will this be? Mm-hmm. In the moment, I know I can hear the voice of my daughter sad, that I'm not there. I can hear her voice on the phone, like, and she has every right to be sad. And it's very tough. It's very tough. Because I'm entering into her emotions and I'm trying to make it. She's allowed to be sad. That's okay to be sad. The family unit has been broken, and it's
obviously that's really hard. It's in times like this that people sometimes they lose faith, right? Sometimes when you go through the struggle, it affects you in such a way. It's like, well, why isn't God taking care of me? Or you know. What did I do to deserve this? I think, maybe there is nothing to the, but I think, as you're saying, Bhagavatam saves you. The more that you train yourself and seeing through the eyes of Bhagavatam, and you begin to see it makes sense, then these very difficult times in life, like you're going through right now, rather than breeding a type of cynicism or a type of nihilism or pessimism or atheism or whatever, it actually, what it does is, it can actually, even that, it becomes bittersweet. Even that bitterness, it kind of gets washed over by a certain sweetness, because what it does is it makes you zoom out, like you're saying, and realize, even those things in this world that are dearest to me, I realize, I realize that everything in this world is temporary, even those connections and things that are dearest to me. And ultimately, that feeling can create a sense of intimacy with God, like a deeper, more sincere kind of calling, or a deeper, more sincere kind of connection, or a deeper realization of that reality as separate from this temporary world. I mean, do you feel that kind of blended into it?
Yeah. I can't help because I'm in the moment right now. I'm getting off the phone with one of the children, and kids too, they don't really express themselves a lot on the phone. They're very short, like everything's okay, I'm good, miss you, I love you. And it's sort of like I want to explore that more, like enter into their mind. How do you actually feel? But me and Mara were in the car yesterday, and my daughter was so sad in her voice, but she didn't express that she was sad. You could just hear her sadness. And as a dad, you want to fix stuff, and imagine, it's unfixable. Right, because her family is broken up. It's going to be a different holiday for her, and there's a ripple effect of trauma that goes by whenever the container of a commitment gets broken. And so
I would imagine there are things you want to communicate to your kids. But it's not like you can just sit down and explain it all. You can, but how much they're fully understanding is like,
they can't explain it. It just
they can't fully understand exactly all that you want to communicate.
And I will say that we've created so many buffers with wisdom of the sages, like don't go here, don't go there, don't go to the edge of the road there. The edge of the road is, this is a great time to really blame somebody. It's a great time to really be angry and furious. It's a great time to resent somebody. It's a great time to want revenge. act in a spiteful way. And I'm just like, nope, can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do that.
Right.
Can't do that.
But-
And so it's been good. It's been good because all the training that we're getting by hearing the Bhagavatam on a regular basis, it's like, okay, Christian is like, you believe in this stuff? Because now put it to work right now.
Right. But
Right?
let me share this also, Raghunath, is that I know this is easier for me to see maybe or to say than you.
Yeah.
But I've watched you, how you've invested your time and your heart and your faith with your kids.
Yeah.
Like, in other words, I've seen you repeatedly bring them to India and share like what gives you life, share it with them in such a way that they understand it and giving them life. And these are really unique opportunities in life. It's not like and when I say this, I don't want to, I'm not saying this to criticize anyone else because we all have difficult schedules and so on. But like, it's not like you're just this father that just kind of popped in at the end of the day and, was
Right.
upset from the day of work and never really, you've given them all kinds of special experiences and you've brought them to many beautiful places and shared the meaning of it and introduced them to many important people and helped them understand the value of that and given them and done all of that in a way that's been fun and exciting and unique and all that. And I think all of that investment, it's years of investment, it's left a mark there that can't go away and that will get them through this difficult time, and without with the depth of your relationship remaining intact, even though it's so hard now.
I love you and I appreciate that. And I've really thought that through as well. But sometimes kids, like adults, they never get over trauma. And they, you're right. This can be like, I've invested a lot of love and means a lot to them. And they could just, go through this period and go, you know what? I love you. And kids do that. But then it made me take it another level deeper. Sometimes kids never get over it. And sometimes kids grow up hating their parents.
Well, but
You know,
so I'm
resenting
saying
their
sometimes
parents.
that's true. And so what I'm saying is due to the investment that you made, I don't believe that will be true in this case.
I know.
But at the same time, what's also particularly, what do I know? I'm no child psychologist or anything, but what I
it's hard
imagine
for a
is,
child to get. Why would they do this to me?
I understand they're going to grow up.
You know.
That's why I said you want to communicate a lot of stuff, and they may not be able to understand it, but they're going to grow up. So what you've invested previously, and I think also what also becomes really important is your behavior through this.
Right.
Will have a lot to do with how quickly they can understand it all. But any kind of behavior that's going to confuse them, I think that's why you have to be so careful. I think in this time, not to come out with the bitterness and the hatefulness and so on. If they see
Sure.
that, if they see
Sure.
that, oh, that's a feature of my father I never knew about before.
Right.
Then,
No, that's true. That's true. But I even have to take it. What I'm saying is there is a chance that you could get a lot of love and they could actually resent you still. And you almost have to be ready for that.
Or you
be
have
ready
to wait it out, right? Because particularly in
Right.
the teenage years when the kids are figuring out everything and they're finally getting their first, opportunity at independent living and independent thinking. So, it's and that's all where that teenage angst is all, at and everything. So there might be some time where you might feel that or they might feel that. But I think, again, because of the investment that you've made and that you continue to make, you'll get through that, But that's where the zooming out, becomes important for you to not get depressed and for you not to be full of anxiety about it.
Yeah. I'm taking Rocco to Columbia for 2 weeks.
That's good.
Yeah.
And
then,
take them all to my place for Boxing Day.
Yeah, and then we're going to Boxing Day to your house.
All right. We've taken up this term Boxing Day. Americans don't even say. It's like let's make it an American thing. Boxing Day.
Boxing. Yeah, come on. Anyway, thank you for that. Appreciate
It's
it.
actually Kwanzaa that day too, Raghunath. So we'll make it a Kwanzaa celebration too.
Great.
All right.
Anyway, thanks for hearing me out on that one.
No problem.
Didn't mean to dump on everybody. Good morning. Good morning,
No,
everybody.
You didn't tell me that we were going there.
I didn't know I was
Chet
going
and
there.
Ryan
Sometimes I
must be-
just go these places.
Okay.
And, it's whatever. Okay.
It's
Good
a tough
morning.
time.
All right.
It's a tough time, Raghu. You're in the middle of the toughest point.
It's a
of it.
very tough time because we're not even
Yeah.
fully, the tooth is not already pulled
Yeah.
yet. It's sort of when you're pulling on teeth and you still got a little, that's where I'm at right now. We're still enmeshed and trying to unenmesh, and
Yeah.
the kids don't get it and I don't get it. And I think it's for the better good, but I'm in a little pain.
Right. I get it.
Okay.
Okay.
Happy Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Okay.
Happy Kwanzaa. So, we started reading some interesting stuff yesterday, did we not?
Yeah, I like this
remember
whole
what it
section actually.
Okay, but I think to a lot of people, this section could be like, again, we are at a place in history right now, right? Like you and I we're old enough to kind of see it, like, just a number of years ago, like not even decades ago, right? But just like a number of years ago, the things that concern people or trigger people or confuse people, it's like we can see shifts,
Yeah.
And really, I would say right now, like just the very concept of any type of hierarchy can really trigger people. And sometimes the thought that goes into it is not so deep, is very surface level, a certain resistance to any kind of social kind of hierarchy, let's say. But what this is, and so we started reading yesterday, like it started saying this kind of, first we read in text 27, it said it was saying that we should see the equality in every living being, but also we should see the distinction, right? On the spiritual level,
Right.
there's a total equality, but on the material level, there's distinctions. And by being able to clearly discern in our own view, you could say a hierarchy, or you can say like, well, let's say, how will I relate to people? I need to understand their qualities. What is the metric by which I judge people? Who should I show particular respect to, like extra respect? Who should I go to for advice? Who should I respect in another way, as giving charity, or showing a different type of respect? So that becomes important if one wants to practice yoga and if one wants to elevate themselves, who I associate with, how I associate with them. And so text 27 said, see everyone as equal, but also recognize some people you show that respect through charity, and other people you show it, through developing intimate relationship with, or friendship. And then we get into this whole, it's verses 28 through 34, which we're in the middle of now. It gives this gradation of like life forms, like of jivas. It begins with inanimate objects, and then it says better than that is living immovable entities, right? Some living beings can't move. And then it says better than that are entities with greater life symptoms. And then better than that is with developed consciousness. And then it gets into beings that have developed sense perception. And it goes up this gradation. Better still is those that have developed touch. Better than that is taste. Better than that is smell. Better than that is those that can hear, right? And then it goes, those that can distinguish form. And then I think getting to the verses that we're going to start to read today, those with 2 sets of teeth, those with many legs, those with 4 legs.
2 sets of teeth? Did I miss that one?
Which always reminds me of that ridiculous, crazy story you were telling us the day before yesterday about the snakes that have no teeth and they gum you and they pull you down to the water. This is some prank that Raghunath pulled on Bunky. He had Bunky believing that they were going to swim in these waters.
We're going to these cenotes. And he's like, what are cenotes? I was like, there's crystal clear things in Mexico, and you dive in. And he goes, are there any animals in there? I was like, oh, he's setting me up for a prank right now. I was like, oh, well, there's these snakes. He's like, snakes. I was like, oh, but they don't bite. He's like, oh, okay. But they do wrap around your leg and try to tug you under. I was like, you're kidding. Because I can't swim that good. And I was like, he goes, but they don't bite. I was like, well, they gum you. They don't have teeth, but they try to bite you. Okay, anyway, you said one gradation of these beasts have 2 sets of teeth.
2 sets of teeth.
That's a higher grade of being.
Than beings that don't. And then it goes still higher to those beings that have many legs. Like, you got beings. Prabhupada kind of...
Centipedes.
Prabhupada kind of covers this. Let me see if I can pull this up. He kind of goes through it in a simple way. Like, what kind of creatures are you talking about? Exactly.
Right.
And so Prabhupada kind of summarizes it like this. He says the first division is made between dead, stone-like matter and the living organism. Above that, the next manifestation of the living condition is developed consciousness. And the next manifestation is the development of sense perception. And then amongst those sense perception, it is said here that amongst the trees, there are evolutionary processes. The different kinds of trees have touch perception. It is said that better than the trees are the fish, because fish have developed a sense of taste. Better than fish are bees, who have developed a sense of smell. And better than that, bees are very fascinating.
I know.
Another
I got a
subject. I
tattoo
want
of
to
a bee. I'm into bees.
That's right. You got a tattoo of one. That's right.
Really.
And then
Italian honeybees. It's my thing.
Better than fish are the bees who have developed a sense of smell, and better than them are the serpents, because serpents will gum you and pull you into the water, because serpents have developed a sense of hearing. It is said that certain birds, such as crows, can distinguish one form from another. I don't know exactly what that means. That living entities that have many legs, like the wasp, are better than the plants and grasses, which have no legs. Four-legged animals are better than many-legged living entities, and better than the animals is the human being who has only 2 legs. Now, what does that mean, better, right? And then it's going to go to a very fascinating description of among human beings.
So they go into the different hierarchy of human beings.
Yes.
I want to get Thomas Harry Bull's information on this because the Bible, he's our Bible expert.
Okay.
It goes into gradations of angels. I've heard in the I would like, yeah.
Okay.
Which we talk about a lot. We talk about higher beings, aka
you do.
aliens.
Okay.
They are. Angels are
Humanoids are
aliens. It's okay. We can angels equals alien, same type of thing. But I'd like to hear, right? It'd be interesting.
Well, does he have it now or no?
I don't know. We've never talked about this.
Okay. I thought maybe it was something he was putting up.
I'm just saying, if he knows something, throw it up on the board, Thomas Harry Bull, and we'll read it. Gradations of angels. Okay, so so there's 400,000 species of humans.
Right. And then to me, it really gets interesting here. Like this is maybe the most relevant part of it is when it talks about the gradations among humans.
Right. And yesterday we spoke about the Dutch.
The Dutch,
the Dutch happen to be a taller race of humans.
But it's not talking about height. It's talking about more about the depth of one's the depth of one's realization or consciousness. So again, why is all this relevant? Why do we have to have gradations? Why do we have to have hierarchies? The fact is they're there always anyway, and we're going to talk about that. It's just a question of, can we recognize them, and based on that, can we discern? For instance, who do I go to for advice? You know, whose behavior do I try to emulate? You know, who do I see as an example? Where am I going in my own progress? What am I trying to move towards? You know, what's my next step? So therefore, this becomes valuable information. So why don't we pick up, what verse are we on now, Mara?
29, I think.
31.
We were at 31, yeah. So now we're at the human being section. So let's go ahead and get right into this.
This should be good. 29. Among the living entities.
31.
31.
Among the human beings, the society which is divided according to quality and work is best.
Okay.
And in that society, the intelligent men who are designated as brahmanas are best. Among the brahmanas, one who has studied the Vedas is the best. Among the brahmanas who have studied the Vedas, one who knows the actual purport of Veda is the best. Interesting.
And why don't you read 32 as well, and that'll conclude this.
Better than the brahmana who knows the purpose of the Vedas is he who can dissipate all doubts, right? A realized brahmana. Mm-hmm. And better than him is one who strictly follows the Brahminical principles, right? You don't just... You live it. You don't just read about it.
Don't just speak it.
Right.
Can't
better
just
than him,
it, but you live it.
Better than him is one who is liberated from all material contamination. Working on that. And better than him is a pure devotee who executes bhakti or devotional service without expectation of reward.
Which was the subject earlier in the chapter, right? In other words, that's the real yogi there, is when everything's done on the level of love I don't want the things of this world. I don't even want liberation, which was just mentioned. I don't even want freedom from suffering in this world. I operate out of love.
Well,
Okay.
let me ask you a question there, sir.
Yes.
It seems like this type of a class system exists in a lot of cultures. You have that feudal system in Europe where you have the priests, you have the kings, you have the peasants, you have in Hawaiian you got the kahunas, these like priestly sort of mystical, insightful beings, and you have the warriors and the it seems like that type of I don't know enough about Native Americans to even comment on their
Social divisions.
social division, but there's obviously some people who are more like medicine man types, and ones who are obvious, the warriors, etc. So it seems like every society was broken into that, except unless you're some hermit forest dwelling.
The thing is, I think I agree with you. I believe these divisions do exist, but the question, what was different? And so it said the very first thing it said in text 31 is right. It said, amongst human beings, the society which is divided according to quality and work is best. So in other words, and even the way that I understand it is what it's saying is that the person that understands their role in society, the person that has a clear understanding of what are my duties, what are my strengths, what are my duties, and how am I living, what ethical code am I following to counteract my weaknesses and be the best, play the best role in society that I can play, according to my psychology. That person's better, right? They're more advanced. They're in one sense, they're living a better life. Now you're saying, in one sense, these divisions are what Prabhupada wrote here in the commentary to, I think it's text 31, right here. He says, oh, did I not save it? Well, let me pull it up in the purport. you laugh when I'm spaced out.
No. Scott Stalder Scarmusosis.
Yeah.
He wrote, that's a great T-shirt. Angels are aliens.
Okay, Raghunath, let's try to stay on.
Come on, that's
here.
funny.
They're going backwards.
That's very funny. Angels are aliens.
He says the system of 4 classifications in human society, according to quality and work, is very scientific, Srila Prabhupada says. This system of brahmanas, kshatriyas, vaishyas, and shudras has now become, what is this word, Mara? Vitiated?
What?
Huh? You don't know that one?
Go back to private school, Mara.
Well, why don't you look that up? But I think it means like
I
corrupted
got it.
or
It's spoiled. Let's see.
yeah.
Sorry, I just had it. Spoil or impair the quality of.
Okay. So he's saying this system of these social divisions, which has now become spoiled or corrupted in some way, as the present caste system in India. But it appears that the system has been current for a very long time, since it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So it's saying that you're saying that these divisions are there, and unless I want to talk about these divisions and what they mean, but you're saying that they're kind of there in all societies. You see people play these different roles. It's So what is different is the recognition, and this is where it gets a little scary, right? That according to your role, that there are duties that are outlined for you, and you're expected to follow them, right? And all of society is looking at you and saying, "Why aren't you living like that?" And why is one seen as higher than the other? So let's talk about that.
Well, maybe we could talk about what the ideal world would be than what's real. There's ideal and what's real, and then maybe sort of like, how is this even relevant now? Where does that come in?
I want to let's kind of jump into this is what I would like to jump into. How is it relevant now? Let's try to understand that. Okay. And you have these divisions. What does it mean to be a brahmana? What does it mean to be a vaishya and kshatriya, and then ultimately shudra? And this is where it gets really scary, right? Because it's like, oh well, they're the lowest ones. They're the laborers, and they're stuck in this position, and they're not being shown any respect, and so on. But I think there's this classic form of varnasrama. Again, there's the brahmanas, who are thought of as the teachers and the priests. And really, but I would say it means more really the advisor, right?
Or some people call them the senior educators.
Okay. And then you have the kshatriyas, which we call warriors. Really, these are the social administrators, the people that administrate law, right? They create the law, they administrate the law.
They protect the vulnerables. They're,
and the protectors, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the purpose of law, is to protect people, right? And then you have the vaishyas, which we commonly think of as like farmers. But it doesn't mean just anyone. What the Gita says, when it comes to vaishyas, it lists, because there are 4 verses or 3 verses in the Gita that list the duties or the qualities of these 4 different social divisions. And it says about vaishyas, it says Krishi Goraksha, which means Krishi means plowing and Goraksha means caring for the cows. But it also says Vaniyam, which means trade or business, right? And so when we think of what is a vaishya, I think the more relevant way that we can understand it in our current time is it's the job creator, it's the employer, right?
Sure.
It's the person that owns their own business and employs others. That is a vaishya, right? So what you have is you have the brahmana. They're the advisors, the teachers, the professors, the clergy, the ministers, really the advisors. And who do they advise? Especially they advise the kshatriyas, who are the social administrators dealing with law and justice. And they advise the vaishyas, who are like the business leaders, right? The business administrators who create jobs and employ people, and they're entrepreneurs. And then what is a shudra? A shudra is someone that doesn't fit into other those categories. They're not independent. They are serving a boss, right? And that's the vast majority of people, right? Like most
employees,
people,
basically anyone who's employed.
Right. Like, in other words, if you wake up in the morning and say, oh no, I can't be late to work today or my boss is going to be upset.
So you could be
then you're
a big lawyer in a law firm, but be a sudra, right? Because you're employed. You're an employee of the law firm.
In a sense, that's right. Yeah. And you're a vaishya if you own the law firm, right? Or if you're a partner, I suppose, in the law firm.
Interesting.
Right. So and as you're saying, those divisions, they exist everywhere. Like, in any society, you're going to have the business people, the people that are employing people, and you're going to have the people that are employed. And you're going to have the people, you see, like in this traditional idea, who lays down the law? It was the people with power, and it meant they had physical power, they had martial skills, and they could control. If there was someone that was a criminal, they could deal with them, right? Nowadays, our lawmakers aren't like that. We vote them in. Then they took the power, right? Like they stepped up and they took that power. Now that we grant them that power based on votes, and they create laws, right? That's our system now. And it seems to us like the most civilized system, but actually there's so many serious problems. You could really, if you just look at these things objectively.
It's got a few holes in it.
It's got so many holes, and that's why we're destroying ourselves. Like, imagine if you had brahmanas. You see, the idea is within varnashram, there was an acceptance of these sacred texts as speaking truth and giving us values by which we could center society around.
Imagine if you're like a good example. Suppose like Kaustubha is giving a class on the Bhagavad Gita, and I go in there and he's got like, all these gold rings on, a gold tooth. He's like, what is this guy? And he's charging a certain amount for this class. It makes me question like, well, what's his motive behind me? Is he just trying to sell me this? Does he believe in it? Does he walk his talk? So the brahmanas are the leaders. They took voluntary vows of poverty. Yeah. And they're
no one's employee.
They don't work for anybody. And they just learn I'm just going to live with nothing. I'm going to live with nothing by the handouts.
I live on donations. Yeah.
I live by donations. And then from there, they can be a little detached when they give advice. And the system was set up that those who want the power, those who are in charge, those who are those leaders, they have to submit to the brahmanas. Right. They can't make choices. They can't invade. The brahmanas were the lawyers. The brahmanas were the judges. They can't be purchased, right? It's who you want to be your doctors, your lawyers, your judges, your advisors, the ministers. These are the people that you want, the persons that can't be purchased.
That's right. And just think of it this way. So you have the vaishya, who again is the business administrator, the job creator, the employer. Then in the terms of the social justice realm, you have the kshatriyas, they're ruling, and then you have the brahmanas.
They're actually the real social justice warriors.
That's right. Social justice warriors. And then you have the brahmanas, who are really the advisors in society. They know if the sacred texts are the guidebooks, they know those books better than anyone else, and they embody those books better than anyone else. And so they have insights. So now here's the thing, like, if, say, I have an aversion to hearing about any kind of hierarchy, I don't like that you're creating these divisions in society. Then I say this, like, say that you give me a job like that someone do, like I work for, Google, right? Yeah. In an office, in a cubicle every day, I check in. Then according to this, you're Shudra. And that's not to put you down, but it's to say that, like, you're not a leader in society. Like, you're not a leader in any of those three categories. And that's shown because you are dependent on your employer, who gives you a paycheck every week or month or whatever. So now here's the choice. Would you rather work for someone that has not had any kind of, or let me flip it. Would you prefer to work for someone that from their youth had wise people that lived very simply, that were living a pure life without any kind of materialistic motivation, but that really embodied wisdom? Would you, if your boss from when they were quite young was trained in ethics about what it means to be an employer,
right,
and was shown that you've got they were shown you've got great aptitude for business, and that's a wonderful thing, and you can use that to serve society and to serve God. But what you should understand is part of also that comes along with that aptitude is a tendency towards greed. You've got the intellect, you've got the aptitude to go out and make money, and therefore you employ people. But you got a little bit of a potential dark side there, right? A weakness in your psychology that you're prone to greed. So what it means to be a good vaishya, to be a good employer, and what all society is going to look at you and applaud you for and respect you for, is how you care for your employees. That's what you are. That's your role in society. That is how you please God. Would you rather work for that person or for a person that got none of that, and based on the ridiculous television and movies and, like they got those, what was that guy, the greed is good, that kind of thing, or the Wolf of Wall Street, or these, right? Where the whole idea is we're just in it to make as much money. So the successful capitalist, their idea is like, let me pay as little as possible, right, and increase my profits as much as possible. So you got this incredibly imbalanced system where, like, there's a few people on top of this corporation they have way more money than they could ever spend, and everybody else is struggling with healthcare, struggling with being treated with any dignity. That's the world that we live in. So which would you prefer? And so, quite frankly, I would prefer. And this is where, are we going to recreate this exactly the way it was then? I doubt it. But
bring back the monarchs. Who knows? Who knows? Well, this world could collapse in a moment, Kaustubha.
The fact is what's happening now is we're destroying the earth the way that we're working. It's like, and now
right.
we can't walk around without a mask on and getting inoculated with things that are like probably damaging our health too. So, and that's all because we're living greedy, and there's no adult on top that's telling the political leaders and that's telling the business leaders, hey, you're all just working for the political leaders. You're just working for power, and you've been corrupted by the business leaders who are just working for money, and we're destroying the earth and destroying each other. There's got to be a Brahminical head that comes in and says, you're not even going to be happy this way. You got to take care of people. You got to take care of the earth. You got to take care of the animals. Otherwise, we're destroying ourselves, and that could bring back a monarchy because it's not working through democracy.
And without these brahmanas, these people are actually detached, and they really care. You really feel like these people care about my well-being, and they're the ones who are directing things. You can't feel peaceful. Like nobody feels peaceful nowadays because there's such distrust in leaders. No one trusts our leaders. No one trusts the media explaining what's going on. And everybody's sitting with a little bit of like, what the hell's about to happen? What the hell is about to happen right now?
Right. Are we going off the edge?
Is this it? Is this the collapse of Rome? What's going on?
That's true. It's true. So when what Srila Prabhupada was doing, you'll hear him many times, like when he was asked, because he was being interviewed all the time, right? Wherever he would go. For the last 12 years of his life, he was traveling all around the world, and he had this kind of like this movement kind of just like materializing very quickly of followers. And they're saying, what are you doing here in the Western world? Why did you come here? And he would say, I've come to create a class of first, he would say first class men. And really, quite frankly, what he meant by that was men or women. And that's very clear because he was training women in the exact same way, right? But what he's saying, first class men, meaning Brahmins, people that are wise, people that live peacefully, people that live simply, and people that have such a depth of understanding about life, about the soul, about God, that they can advise the political leaders. They can advise the business leaders so that we can make a world that actually works, where people can live happily and peacefully and ultimately cultivate spiritual life. That's what he was trying to create. That's why we read Bhagavatam every day, at least in terms of socially, that's why, right? We have our own, like on the individual level, our own spiritual development. But then on the social level, how are we contributing? That's what he wanted to contribute. Go back to these texts and develop that insight.
And of course, in Vaishnav, within the system, there are Vaishnavas, or those who worship Vishnu, which is, where we fall into this category. And we accept that there is a system. We accept that there's an organization. We accept that there is a hierarchy. But we also accept that we are transcendental to it anyway. Like that is still based on a material framework, a material vision. And therefore, within Vaishnavism, you can be born into and work in that lowest caste and be considered a guru, be considered a liberated soul, be considered a master. And we see that in our tradition. People are not born in this Brahminical minister class, but they've transcended all social systems.
Right. And that's why the very top of this gradation was the pure devotee, right? And when we got to the final end, it said brahmana who also follows the duties, then liberated person, then pure devotee. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or anything. So why don't we get into that tomorrow? Because there's so much that could be said about that.
You know what I heard? I'm not sure if this is true. I think Tukaram told me this, that Bhaktisiddhanta, Prabhupada's guru, if you're born in these families, like a Brahmin family, it's a very big deal. In India, that like, this is your caste, you're Brahmin. He would make them give away their Brahmin threads before if they moved into the ashram, meaning we are of no caste. Interesting.
Well, we should learn more about it because he also, at the same time, instilled varnasrama. So, right. In other words, he taught it, and so.
All right, let's talk
more into that. Why don't you give Tug a call today and find out more?
I'll dive into that.
Thank you, Rogan. And Mara, do we have any takeaways for today?
Oh, wow. That's it? That's the show?
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm talking about tomorrow.
Man, this is it. That went quick today.
It did. Don't speak until you appreciate first.
Okay.
Difficult situations create intimacy with God.
They do.
Angels are aliens.
Angels are aliens.
That is good.
All angels aliens, and are aliens necessarily angels?
Oh, that's a good point. Not all alien. Not all angels. Wait a second.
All angels are aliens, but not all aliens are angels.
There you go. That's a good one. That is a very cool shirt.
Okay.
That could be on the back of the shirt.
You have pictures of different.
Zoom out. Look at decades, not days.
All right.
Oh, look at decades, not days.
Look at decades, not days. I like that.
God, that's a decades, not days. That's a band.
See spiritual equality and discern the material hierarchy.
Okay.
I wouldn't wear the shirt, but I like the sentiment.
Don't just read it, live it.
Don't just read it, live it. It's not quite the same unless you're living it.
It's different. It's completely different.
Santa Claus works for Krishna.
Yes, he does.
Does he? Are we sure about that?
How about, is this the fall of Rome?
Is this the fall of Rome?
Maybe.
Let's exacerbate our anxiety. Is this the fall of Rome?
Sorry, I'm a little late with the music today.
I know
my
it
phone
ruins
was
the
burning.
whole mood, Kaustubha. Now
I'm
there's like
sorry.
dead air.
I usually nail it.
I know it's usually.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. This is such a great closing song, isn't it? Mayaporis. If you don't have that Mayaporis CD, you know it's so weird. You can't even say go out and buy the CD. You're like,
I know what
go
do you
to
do. I don't even
Spotify.
know what you do anymore.
How do people do it anymore?
I mean,
go
do
to
you
Spotify.
download
look-
it on your phone, or do you just go to Spotify every time? How does it work? I don't even know.
No, man. I'm old. I'm old. I still have cassettes. Oh, boy. Anyway, I want to thank Jaishree Triolo, Kavacha Designs. KAVACHA designs.com. Go there, WOTS 108, and get 20% off of her awesome, beautiful, handcrafted silver and gold
Armor.
Kavachas. Armor.
Sacred armor.
Spiritual sacred armor in case
and,
you're going into battle.
In case
And you
you're in a
need some
battle.
sacred armor. And every day is a battle here at Wisdom of the Sages.
Sure is.
We battle our demons. I'm battling my internal demons on the regular basis. Here comes the revenge demon. I'll kill it. Using my
And,
sacred armor.
Another thing is again, follow us on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, hit the bell, whatever that means,
Oh, yeah. If you
and,
didn't, I got to feel it's
and
already
push us
done,
over
man.
the 10 grand today, right?
Yeah, let's go over
Yep.
10 grand. Boom.
All right. Maybe we already
Oh,
done it.
Revenge
Let's see.
Demon. That could be a good name. See, AJ Sullivan's got the ears. He's always looking for band names. Revenge Demon. We're Revenge Demon.